with us this morning to start your day productive with collaborative learning. I encourage each of you to actively participate, ask questions, and share your insights throughout the session. Your engagement is what enriches our collective learning experience and contributes to the vibrant spirit of this session. With that, I would like to give it over to our speaker, Ms. Thanaruby. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'll share my screen. So today we'll start with creating a component. I hope everyone has set up your missions for development. Today what we'll do is we'll start with a base component. Friday we made created our base system in TypeScript. Today what we are going to do is we are just going to use JavaScript because a lot of people have requested for it. I'm actually going to code in the same project only, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just rename the component. Now this is app.tsx. All I have to do is rename it. I'm just going to put app.jsx, then that will work as JavaScript file. What's the difference is, if I put that as JSX, then say if I'm passing a variable here, if I put this code in TSX file, the terminal will give me an error because if it is in TSX, I have to give the type of it, like I'm passing like this, then I have to put name string. I have to give this typing. As this is JSX now, I don't need to do it. Why this error is coming is because I'm giving a property here. So that means I have to give a value for my property. What is a property? In our component, we can pass values through properties. I'm calling this component here. So if I give like name equals to, I don't have this value, so I'll put a string value. String. Then I have put a value, I have passed a value through this property and get the value of this property here, and I can use it in my component. Say I'm logging it. I'm still having an error. That is property name is missing that record. It says the name is missing in app component, but we have passed it. So I'm going to search whether we are using this. We are using this in another file. So there also I have to give name equals name. This is test file. We don't need it. I can even delete it. I'm just keeping it here. So now the array is gone. We can see the value of this variable in our console now. So I'm going to change this name test. So if I go here and I can see my value, the value of my variable in my console. So I'm going to just delete it for the moment. I don't need this variable for any reason, so I'm going to remove this. It will give me error even if I pass this variable without getting it from my declaring it in my component. So that is property, and state is something that is inside our component. We can manipulate state, our component state, with useState hook. We'll see how we can use useState hook in a moment. Before that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a component. So separate component and use that component inside this app component. I'm going to comment out this code, and I have this image and all from my base component, so I'm going to comment out that too. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file with a name contact form dot. I'm going to use JSX. If I use TSX, then I have to give all the typing. I'm using JSX. So can someone tell me how can I write boilerplate code here? The base code, how to write easily. Anybody? Last time we looked into that. Okay, I'll go with it. That is, we have added a snippet called extension called snippet creator. Some snippet, this one, React snippet. So with that, I can use FAC. It is RAF, yeah. RAFCE, I can create arrow functional component with default export. So I'm just clicking it. So because my file's name is contact form, it created a component with the name contact form. So, and also it is exporting this component as default from this file. So that is created. I'm going to create this this UI in my component contact form. I have written all the CSS and JSX needed for this component, because JSX is just like HTML. So it is very easy for you guys to understand. The code is here, even you can use that when you're trying this out. I'm going to just copy this. And put inside this. And okay, that is giving me some errors. I'll see what are the errors because of this character that is copied from my PDF. Okay. And some more So text area, it's giving me error. Why is that? Just remove this and see what happens. Okay, the error that there is gone. Text here. Okay, that must be because of this. No, still there is coming, so okay, there is gone. Now for the button also that symbol is here, so I'll remove it and put this mark here and submit and okay, now my errors are gone. So I have just copied and pasted this here. And something I noted, that is my prettier is not working. My code is not aligned properly. So I'm just going to look into what happened with my prettier. Maybe I need to give JSX extension for my prettier. I'll check settings and settings, code formatter, text editor, formatter. I need to check into why actually my prettier is not working. I'll look into that and let you know, guys, what went wrong here. For now, I'll continue with what I'm doing. So here I have pasted that code and I'm going to copy and paste the CSS. I'm going to use another CSS file for this contact form. So I'm going to create that new file, contact form.ss, and I'm going to copy this here. Okay, this is pasted. I hope you guys know the CSS and HTML. So this is just CSS, and what I have pasted here is JSX. Still, it's just like CSS only. for class in JSX, in HTML, we normally use class icons, but in JSX, we are going to use the keyword class name and put the class, CSS class. So we have done this, we'll check it in our, okay. Something went wrong. What happened is we didn't give this in our app component. So I'm adding this to my app component. So importing it, import. This is default export, so I have to import with the name and from dot contact form. So I have added this to my app page, so it should appear, but some issue with I didn't add the CSS file to my component, so I have to add it, import. Contact form, this is I'll try to edit from app.jsx. Okay. Contact form.css is not appearing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this file and try out whether I could add this. So okay, I'm getting an error here. Okay, there is some error in my CSS file, so that only it gives me error. Because of these symbols, it gives me error. Do I have any other of that? No. Okay, now it's fine. So it must be okay. Yeah. Now I got my design. So you can also use that code from the file, and be careful when you're copying it. Remove all those symbols. And so we have added this component here. This is a separate component. We have added all the designs related to contact form inside this component and calling this component from our parent component app.js. So we are not using it. I'm going to comment it out, the logo. So I'll just go through this code, what's happening here. All we are doing is, of course, it's just like HTML code, but this is JSX. We are adding some divs and some inputs and a button. With this, I'm going to start using useRef. I'll give an introduction about hooks and start with that. So what are hooks are? Those we have in React, we have about 10 hooks, but we normally use some hooks like useRef, useState, and useEffect very frequently. So we are going to look into only that. And also even we can create a custom hook. if we create a function with the keyword use, that like for example, if I create a function with the name use my component, then that is a hook. If the function's name start with use, that is a hook. I can use that hook inside my component. So now I'm going to use ref. Let us see how to use that. If we are working in a class component, we can't use ref or any hook, and also we can't add them inside any conditional statement like if or else. We have to use just inside our component. Const use input ref equals to use ref. Okay, I'm going to show how to use this use ref hook. This is imported from React, and what I'm going to do is I have some inputs here. So in JSX, for elements, to refer those elements, for example, if it is an input element, to get the values of those elements, I can use ref hook. I can use it like ref equals, and if I am using a variable inside JSX, what I have to do is I have to start with curly brackets and put that inside curly brackets. So I'm referring this input with this reference, input ref. Now what will happen is, say if I am changing the value of this input, I'm entering my name. So what now happens is I can access the value of this reference with, say, console logging it, option L, use ref dot current and dot value. With this, I can get the value whatever I am entering it. I have logged it, but there is the issue here. I'll just check what is the value. Now it is the value is visible because I have already entered the value. After that only I have edited my code. So the value is visible here, but if I am starting this project and then entering a value, it didn't print my value because this use ref hook will not render my component again. That means it is not rendered again. The old code is there. The component is not rendered to my browser again. So that is a problem. What I can do for that is to render my component again. I can use state. I'll give an example how to use state. That hook gives me an array. So I can't use the keyword array, so I'll put error use state. So that is added here. This is not used now, so it gives me this line. And I can destructure this array. What is destructure is, say, we have looked last time, array is something that is a list of something, a list of string or list of a function or list of a number. Even we can put different kind of variables inside an array. For example, const array equals, within box brackets, I can put 3 and another string. I can define an array like this, or else I can even put a function. I'll put an arrow function here, a function. This is the first element, that means 0th, the index of the first element is 0. So first element, second element, and third element of the array. So this is how we declare arrays. So this use state returns me an array that has a value. We don't know the value, the type of the value yet, a value and a function. So what I am now going to do is, I'm going to destructure it and give name for a value and an array, a function. So I'm going, normally, conventionally, what we normally do is, I'm going to give this name inputs value, assign name inputs value to this to the value that is returned by use state. So I'm going to give a string value inside this. So when I'm declaring, if I'm giving a string, then my value is normally a string. So I'm going to give a name like input name and set input name. This is how we normally name this. This is some variable name and set that variable name. This is a function. What is destructuring? Destructuring means I have this array. So if I want to get if I want to access this array, what I can do is, I want to access this value, and this value. So const, I put 3 names for those value. My number and my string and my function equals to array. But this does is, if I use this in my code, I'll put this in my code. We'll check it. Here I'm going to use my number. I'll comment it out for the moment because it gives me error. So I'm going to copy this line down and have given this name for this value and this name for this value. I can't print an array like print a function like this. So I'll leave that function. I'm going to console log it, and here 3 and test will be printed in my code 3 and test. This is how destructuring is done. Not just arrays, we can destructure objects too. Say I have an object like const object equals C equals A equals 3 and B equals some string. And when I am using it, I can use that with triple dot sign. Say, I'm going to declare another object called const object 2. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to destructure that object inside this object. Can use dot 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 and object. Okay, there is an error. Missing initialize in const declaration. I have put this thing. Okay, so that means I have destructured all these elements inside this object again. So this object and this object has the same value. That also I can do. We are not really going to use this now. So I'm going to remove that. Even we don't need these two. So I'm going to remove that too. Okay, so can remove this and okay. And this also I don't need. I'm going to uncomment it. I've told you to comment it, we can use control slash or command slash. For uncomment also the same thing. If I use that keystrokes again, it will uncomment it. So I have uncomment this and I'm going to use this. I have used this useref for my first input. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use state for my second input. How that is done is I have this value which is empty string now. I'm going to assign that value to my input. So value equals this. So now this input's value is empty string. And when I am changing it, I'm going to change that value. How that is done in on change. Normally inside HTML on change, we give a function. So likewise, we are going to give a function here. So this is how it's done. This is an array function. I'm going to execute this. This is a function. This function inside on change function. So set, and it gives me an error because it has to, I have to pass something. This is a function. It says it's declared, but this is a call. So I have to call it. And also I have to pass a value, pass a string value to this because this is a string value. I have to pass a string value. What I can do here is, like HTML, I can take the value of what I am entering by element dot target dot value. What I'm doing here is I am setting this value to whatever I am entering. What is the difference between this and this? This seems very easy. It seems a little more complicated. But what is what's done here is, when we are using use state, say for every word, every letter change, this is going to update this variable's value. Say I'm writing T here, then this function will get executed and the value of this will change. So when the value of this changes, when this function get executed, our whole component, that means this component, the main component, is not going to render again. Only the component where our use statement is residing, that component will render again. Let us test it. I'll put a console log here. I'll put this is app component, and this is context form component. So let us change the value of this. I'll delete all these things and I'll just put T. So this one is for the first input I have used ref, so it is not re-rendering anything. I'll refresh it. Now what here is my app component rendered, so my console log has executed and it has logged it. And also my context form component also rendered. So that is also printing that log here. When I am entering T here, nothing get re-rendered. So I don't get any new console logs here. But what happens is, if I am entering T here, the second input I have used use state. So when I am entering T here, what had happened is app component didn't render again. It is still there. So app component log didn't come in my console, but context form component log is there. Only the context form component rendered again. So yeah, the use state is that it is rendered again. So what happens here is, on change, it change the value of this input name. So the value has changed. So the T is printed in this input. So I have another log here, input ref, where that is coming from. Here I'm logging this input ref. Yeah, let me explain that too. So initially, my input ref is logged with undefined value. I'm giving this input ref without any value. So I'm logging it here, the value of the input ref. So it is undefined. I'm entering test here, still no change. But when I'm entering test here, what happens is the input ref value is changed because my component didn't re-render when input ref is changed, but when my component state is changed, it re-renders. So at that time, what happens is my input ref also it already changed when I am changing the input value, but the component didn't re-render, so that value is not printed for me. But when the component re-renders, that means when when the use state is executed, then the use ref's value is printed here. Because I have entered this inputs value as text, that value is printed here. So that is how they both are happening. And I'll explain what is use effect hook. So these three hooks are the main hooks we frequently use. So use effect. We pass a function inside this. I'm writing an arrow function. So this is how base use effect code is written. And inside this, I'm going to write my code. Say I'm going to do a console log here and explain what's happening inside this. So I'll write use effect rendered, use effect. Okay. So what happens here is I'll put an dependency array as a second parameter for this use effect. I'm going to give an empty array without any values. But that if I write my code like this, say my component renders 2 times, but whatever inside this will run only 1 time. I'll do the same thing again what I did before. So I'll clear this and refresh it. So here app component is executed, then context form component is executed. My input ref is undefined, that log is here. Use effect is this actually executed. It is initial load, first load. But when I enter a value to this, my component will get rendered again. Context form component. So I'm going to write T here. Here what happens is my context form component rendered again. So input ref, my log is coming, but my use effect, that log is not coming because whatever inside this block will render only once. Where can we use it? Say, I'm using this use ref for this input. What I want to do is, now if I refresh it, I don't have my cursor focused anywhere. So I want to focus my cursor to this first input whenever I'm coming to this page. What I can do is, I can use useref dot current. I have a function called focus inside this ref, so I'll use that. Focus. Now what happens is, whenever I'm coming to this page, this use effect will run and it will focus to my first input. Say I'm refreshing it, so my cursor is here blinking. So this input is focused. Say I'm rendering the component again. I'm writing a value to this, but now my use effect is not working, not executing. So my cursor is here. So if we want to run some code one time, one time we will use this. And also there is a variation of this use effect. Say, I have a dependency array, which is empty array at the moment. But what I want to do is, I want to execute this code block in a condition. Say, I'm going to write another use state here, and I'm going to give a Boolean value for this, and I'm going to give this as button clicked. Button clicked and set button clicked. I'm going to change the value of this variable when I am clicking on this submit button. So where is my, okay, here on click, what I'm going to do is set button clicked, and I'm going to pass a value to this function true. What happens here is when I am declaring it, the value of button clicked is false, but when I am clicking on the button, I am setting the value of button clicked to true. So it will change. I'm just going to console log it. And what I'm going to do here is, I want to execute this code block second time when I'm clicking on the button. So if the value of this variable is changed, then execute this code block. This is what I am doing here. So I'm going to refresh it. Now the button clicked is false. I'm going to enter something here, enter something here. Still the button click is false. I'm going to, my cursor is here, and I'm going to click on this submit button. Okay. When I click on it, my button click becomes true, and my cursor has gone here. What I'm doing is, I'm clicking on it, I'm executing this code block again, so my cursor is going there. This is how use effect is used. So please look into these three hooks when you are coming next Friday. Sorry. And please try out something. You can use that code, CSS and JSX code, which are given here. Give me a second. Okay, So now last time we skipped array methods here. We'll look into that today. And next Friday, we'll look into adding a library to this component. So let us look into array methods. Because we are using this array method very frequently in our systems, this is a little important for us. So please look into the array methods and try it by yourself. We have an array here, so we'll try it with this. I'll comment this part. So now we don't have our context form in our screen. I'm going to uncomment this array. This is same values, right? So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And our array is printed in our console. So this is our array. Because normally our databases gives whatever we request for in arrays. Say if we want a list of users, it will return it in array format. And we'll manipulate that array and print it to our page. So this is very frequent, and we want to know this. Say I'm going to a map function. I'm going to use this map function. So inside my page, how to list all these arrays in my page. That is with map function. If I am going to use that variables or code block in my JSX file, what I will do is I start with open curly brackets and end with close curly brackets. So array object dot map, give me map. So what I'm going to write inside this is I'm going to take one element of that array by, I'm going to give a name for this object, and I'm going to manipulate it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to print the string. So I'm going to print this is JSX. To print something, we'll use this JSX, and inside that what I'm going to do is test string, sorry, my object's name is object dot test string. So if I look at my screen, it gives me test1, test2, test3. I can, if I use div and close with div, then it will give me like this. So that is map function. And filter. Say I have these 3 values. I want to list only the values which has test number less than 2. Then in that case, what I will do is I'm going to declare another array variable called cons filtered array equals array object dot filter. I'm going to take all the objects and check which objects are object has test number less than 2. So object object dot test number that is less than 2. So what this will return is, this will return only this, because only this has test number less than 2. So this filtered array will have only one value. If I print this filtered array, if I map through all my objects in this array, then what will happen is it will only give me test 1, only one value. Filtered filter method will give me an array as a result. Say if I'm giving less than 3, then it will give me 2 values. So 2 values are printed here. Find method will give me just one object. It will find that one object and give me. So I'll write find object and array object dot find object test number. I can't put this. This will give me error because find method will return only one value, has to return only one value. But this code block here will return me 2 values. This will give me an error. So what I can do is I'm going to check. I'm going to get the value where test number is equal 3. So equals 3. Then it will return me only this object, but not as an array. This filtered array gives me, even if that is one object, that will give me within an array. Say it is give me only this object. This filtered array will give the value like inside array, that one object, but find method will give me just one object, not with inside array. So if I'm going to write this in my screen, what I will do is find object dot test string. Then it will give me test. So it gives me test. And push, pop, slice and splice. So I have this array and I want to add another object to this array. So what I will do is, I'll comment this out. I'm going to push another object. So I'm going to give this as 4 and test 4. So I'm going to do is I'm going to print that again. So array object dot map object and div object dot test. Okay, I have pushed another object inside this array. Now this has to print me 4 elements in my list. So it is printing 4. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get one object out. Then I can use array object, array object dot pop without any value inside this. Then what it will do is it will remove last one object from my array. That is array pop and array splice. I have this array. I'll add another two objects for this. So 4 and 5. Okay. I have by accident entered command W, which is a shortcut for closing the file. So the file got closed. I'm going to open it again. Sorry, not this one. Okay. Because it is auto-serving, I have no issues. That helps a lot. It whatever I have written is saved. I can actually change those shortcuts like in settings, key extensions. Then I can put whatever that is easier key for me. So these mistakes will not happen. So what I'm going to do here is I'll comment this out. Array object dot splice. Now what I want to do here is I want to add one object as a second element inside this array. So I have three properties here for this method. So first element, what I will give is whatever the position I want to start with. So this is 0th, the index of this is 0. So I want to put another object in index 1. So I'll put 1, sorry, 1, okay, 1. And I'll put whatever I want to put. Okay, I want to add an object like 1.1 there. So I want to add this object as a second element. So I have added this. Now we'll check what my code is printing. I don't see any changes there. So splice. Yeah, what happens with splice? I need to check. First element is the element. Second element is whatever. I'm going to Google it. Splice. We can easily get help from online, so it's not a issue for us. So React. Just that we need to know what is the keyword to search. So I can easily get help from internet. So here, yeah, it gives me how I can use that splice. So the first element is index. Insert at index 1. So index 1. And I'm inserting February. This one I have to put it as a third element. So what is 0? I'm not going to remove anything. I'm just going to add an element. So I'll put 0 there. Where is my splice? So second element 0. I'm not going to remove anything from, sorry, not here. Anything from my array. I'm just going to add this array. So a second object is added to my list. If I'm going to add some element remove some element in between, then I want to remove one element there and add this. Then my test2 is removed and this element is added. So that is what splice is. And I have another method, slice. So I'm going to comment this out. Array dot slice, sorry, array object dot slice. Slice method, we normally execute it like this. So from my array object, it will slice and then, it will do the changes, then I can use it in my code. But slice object, I always have to assign it to another variable. So const new array equal slice 2. What this will do is slice 2 objects from the beginning. So I'll get only 3 objects in my new array. So I'm going to enter new array. So I'll get only last 3 objects. My 2 objects are sliced. And if I want to say, I want to take last 2 objects, in that case, what I will do is, I'll use -2, then I'll get only last 2 objects from my array. So that is all about array methods. There are a lot more array methods, but these are frequently used for our manipulations. So yeah, now it's 10:13. Today we'll bind up with this, and please try it out when you guys are coming next time, and please ask questions so that we can discuss and make it as a discussion, so we can get to know more things. So today we'll bind up this with this, and Varsha, over to you.
Thank you, Aki. So thanks for this session. Thanks for your time on sharing your knowledge with us. As the speaker requested, we also kindly request you all to go through the stuff we learned, we have seen today. And also, again, we would encourage you to ask questions as she requested. If you all have anything, you all can drop it in the group, or you all can direct message us if you all want anything. Again, the resources would be shared according to the needful. Let's meet you all on next Friday at 7 p.m. again. Thank you.